Elias dropped the last cardboard box onto the warped hardwood floor. The thud was dull and lonely, echoing through the hollow space of the attic apartment. The unit sat at the very top of a weathered Victorian brick building, where every footstep made the floorboards groan like a dying creature. Elias was a restoration artist. His job was to gather the fragments of time, using chemicals and patience to breathe life back into things the world had moved past. That was why he chose this place. He needed the absolute silence to escape the abrasive city sirens and the judgmental eyes that had followed him since the incident. He took a deep breath. The air here tasted of dust, old paper, and the faint, damp musk typical of buildings that had forgotten the sun. At least it's quiet, Elias muttered to himself. He began to unpack, as he shoved an old wooden wardrobe toward the corner to make room for his easel. He froze. Behind a strip of peeling, jaundiced yellow wallpaper, a crack emerged. It didn't look like a typical settling crack. It started near the floor, thin as a strand of hair, spider webbing upward in delicate, vein-like branches. Elias reached out, tracing it with his finger. It didn't feel like rough plaster. It felt unnervingly cold, as if he were touching the skin of a corpse. Crick. A sound vibrated from inside the wall. It was faint, a dry, rhythmic scratching, like a fingernail dragging across old wood. Elias held his breath, pressing his ear against the fissure. Silence swallowed him. He could hear his own heart hammering against his ribs. 1 second, 2 seconds, and then, a gust of icy air bled from the slit, brushing against his ear. It carried a sound, indistinct, yet unmistakable, a long, weary sigh. He recoiled, tripping over a crate behind him. Just the wind, he reassured himself, wiping cold sweat from his brow. The building is 100 years old. The seals are gone. That night, sleep was an impossibility. He lay on his thin mattress, eyes locked on the darkness where the crack resided, under the pale, sickly glow of the moonlight filtering through the skylight. The fissure looked like a mouth hanging slightly agape, waiting. In the blurred space between wakefulness and dreams, Elias saw himself holding a metal palette knife, frantically smearing white lead paint over the wall. But with every stroke, the white turned into a deep, visceral crimson. He jolted awake, gasping for air. The clock on his wrist read exactly 3 a.m. Elias reached over and clicked on the small desk lamp. The yellow light flickered, casting jittery shadows. He looked at the wall. The crack appeared to have stretched a few inches longer, and at its lowest point, a single drop of black, tar-like liquid was oozing out, slowly tracing a dark tear down the wall.